volleyball team.
I brought it up
And-
to him. We went golfing.
I
The
don't know.
number one volleyball team in the country.
Number one pit volley. Dude, I saw men's soccer is number one too.
I know.
How about that?
That's so random. Pitt's, they've both been good the last, 4 years. Just, uncoincidentally, I guess. It's just oh, okay. They're just there. You don't hear anything about it, but they're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, any sport, you can't become number one overnight. And, I mean, same thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates, right?
Yeah.
It's a process.
Many nights.
It's a process. That's for sure. And part of the process today, we had a couple moves that happened. Noah, would you like to share?
So they DFA'd Rowdy Tellez and Michael A. Taylor, and they recalled...
No!
Not Michael Taylor.
Bro. Nah,
They recalled up
whatever with
Figueroa
Michael
and
Taylor,
Palacios.
bro. Rowdy. Dude. Yeah.
And they did it...
Rowdy, there is a reason why, though.
They did it with... He has apparently 4 more plate appearances until he gets a $200,000 bonus. Now, Ben Cherington and Derek Shelton are claiming that this had nothing to do with the decision, which, you can take that for whatever you want.
Sure it did.
I wonder what Michael
Yeah.
Taylor was owed the rest of the year,
Dude,
too.
this has to...
Do we know that?
Yeah, that's true.
Because if I'm not mistaken,
Was
he
it?
signed
Not off
signed
the
for
dome.
more than Tellez coming into the year, correct? Because wasn't Rowdy
sure.
was 1 year, $3 million or
Yes.
something in that ballpark, and Taylor was 4. So I'd assume Taylor has more money left on his contract.
Yeah, but it's slight. I mean, maybe not with that bonus. If you include that bonus, he would have gotten for sure. That feels like that's got to be some sort of MLBPA violation. They would have
I
a
don't know.
rule about that.
I personally, my thoughts on it, I'm just kind of indifferent to it. I really don't care whether or not he got it or not. He's been pretty mediocre. He has an 89 WRC plus, and he has a negative WAR, both Fangraphs and Baseball Reference WAR, and he currently has a lower OPS during the month of September than he did back in April. And, I appreciate what he did during the summer through June through August. He was good then. But, I mean, I don't know. I just think that's if he got it, he got it. If he didn't get it, he didn't get it. And he just hasn't been playing so good to be oh, yeah, we should just keep him here until he gets the $200,000 bonus. I'm just going to say one thing. I feel like this was going to be a lose-lose situation because I know what the reaction now is obviously oh, the Pirates are so cheap. They don't want to keep him here until he has the $200,000 bonus. But based on how much a lot of fans did not like Rowdy Tellez, I feel like the reaction would have been if they kept him oh, why'd we keep him until we had to pay him $200,000 bonus? Doesn't Ben Cherington know that he's working on a shoestring budget, this and that? I don't know. It just feels like don't really have any strong opinions about it personally.
I agree. I feel like the same people that are complaining about DFAing him are the same one. Yeah, they're the same ones back in May where they're oh, we got to get rid of him, get rid of Rowdy, blah blah blah. They're the same people.
I mean, granted, we were also saying that we should get rid of him.
I don't really know if that would have been the reaction if nothing happened, because the news about the $200,000 bonus, if he did get it, probably would have been pretty bleak compared to him getting DFA'd. Gets a lot more media coverage and will get a lot more reactions from people. But I'm sure some of the diehards would have had something to say about how that budget is being spent.
I just don't like some of the
Michael A.
reaction.
Taylor along with them.
I just don't know about some of the reaction. I think people who are saying oh, well, this means the Pirate, this means it's even a less attractive place for free agents. I don't know if I think that might be a little bit of an overreaction.
Nah, I think that's looking too much
I
into
think it has more to do with track record of not winning, more so than contract relations.
It's I really know if there's
and just general money they give to players, just period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's a few things higher on the priority list of things that need to be fixed to get more free agents in Pittsburgh. That is very, very low on
not
on
paying
the
a
list.
mediocre first baseman $200,000.
Yeah. Chances are, nobody's really gonna care. And then I mean, Michael A. Taylor.
No
he's
one
just
blinked
been-
an eye when they said Taylor. Everyone cared about the rowdy 200K bonus. No one cared about Michael Taylor.
I know.
That's so upsetting. I mean, like, it's crazy
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I wanted him so bad, and now he turned
Yeah, I
out to
did
be
too.
so bad.
We all did.
Yeah.
like.
We all wanted him because I remember back when we first one of our first ones were saying how much we wanted Michael A. Taylor for center field because he hit like 21 home runs last year and was a Gold Glove finalist.
Well, he certainly didn't do that here.
What times? Well, I mean, he was good defensively at least.
Yeah, no, wasn't in the cards this year. Yeah, he was very good defensively again. I mean, you know who has been great defensively, though, in center?
O'Neal Cruz.
God, I despise how wrong we were about this.
Oh shit!
It's kind of unbelievable.
He's made some great plays in
but-
center field.
Yeah, he has. I mean, really, that's all you see about the Pirates anymore. Other than, Rowdy Tellez getting DFA'd now. All that's really been in the media coverage is you might see a little bit about Nick York, and then you just see random O'Neal Cruz center fielder highlights.
Yeah, MLB recently did just post of it, but that diving catch he made in St. Louis, like they posted and they said, "Oh,
Yeah,
seems like
that was a
O'Neal
great
Cruz is
catch.
adjusting
Yeah.
well." It's like hell yeah,
Yeah, that was a what, like 5%?
something like that.
It was something like
Somewhere around
5. It was something I just know it was really low.
Yeah.
Because he's a freak.
Yeah, no, but he's been
It was
absolutely fantastic.
He's made more than just one great catch though. He made another diving catch not that long ago. He's made some nice running catches. I mean, now I feel like we're gonna say, well, why didn't we do that sooner? Why didn't we move him to center field sooner?
Nah, I mean, I don't think. I based on the reactions pretty much everyone had when that news first got announced that they were moving him to the middle of center field mid-season. I don't really think anyone can go back. Anyone with a digital footprint, I don't think, can really go back
Yeah.
and say it should have been done sooner because really,
Yeah, no.
I mean, I also want to say I doubt the expectations for how quickly he would adjust to center field and how well he were this high anyway. So it feels like more of a happy accident, but credits where credits due. Derek, I guess. Are we still crediting this to Derek specifically?
I mean, it feels like he's more. I feel like it was his idea more, just because like Sherrington's the one that said.
at the time it felt like it was him
'Cause
more than
Sherrington's the one that
Sherrington.
said
Yeah.
I'm just saying
prior
that even
that
if
he wanted Cruz at short, so
I'm just saying that just because we give him credit doesn't automatically mean we think he's a good manager or a good coach. I'm just saying.
No, absolutely not.
that was one right in a season with
Absolutely
many
not.
wrongs. We'll say that.
Yeah.
It
very
definitely
much
solves
so.
a huge hole.
But I mean,
Holy cow. I feel like it makes our
Yeah.
lives
Yeah.
a lot easier going into the off season knowing you have a center fielder. But
especially with Tamar coming very, very soon,
Yeah, kind of frees
It
up
feels
more
like
middle
next year.
infield.
probably.
Maybe. He was already at Double-A, but we'll see what happens.
knowing the Pirates, he probably
hit well
he
at
probably
Double
won't
A.
come up until like second half next year,
Late
if
in the
anything.
season.
I don't expect him to be on the major league roster as like at least as a big time player. I mean, it might
Yeah.
be something like we see Nick York
Oh,
now,
yeah.
or but
I mean, honestly, like with him, I wouldn't want to see him up unless he's getting consistent
I agree.
playing time.
Yeah.
I hate that when a top prospect gets called up and gets 10 at bats a week.
Henry
Like,
Davis moment.
Yeah, terrible. It's just not great for their development.
No.
I mean, it's so hard to adjust. Like when you're that limited and in time, it doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned earlier it's been a year of ups and downs and a lot of downs, but I don't think the Pirates have had as many downs as a few other teams that are in the league. Wouldn't you say so, Noah?
I couldn't imagine. I mean, at this point, it would be kind of be funny if you're a White Sox fan. You have to just laugh.
I've seen people today. I've seen White Sox fans on Twitter say, "Let's break the record today."
You
as
just
they
have
go
to- I
for
mean-
their 121th loss of the season. 121st. Did I say 21?
You said 21.
21st.
I was like, wait. No, but like, that's. I mean,
See,
at this point, you just got to kind of embrace it and just accept it for what it is.
What are the chances that after all this, they still don't get the number 1 pick?
They can't.
Yeah, they're not in contention for it, I don't think.
Yeah, they're because of how
Why
the
not?
draft lottery works.
Oh,
They can only get the 10th overall pick.
really?
Yeah. They're not eligible they're not eligible to try and get the first pick. Some of them market size or draft or how they were picked last year.
Oh, okay. It could have been from where they were last year.
Yeah. So, all this
Oh
to
my
pick
God.
10th.
I feel bad for that
That's
poor
insane.
bastard.
I did hear. I mean, there were rumors for for that team that they were looking at cutting payroll next year too. Do you guys see that?
Yeah. That's got to be depressing.
It's like, oh my god, like
Dude, the grin on Mike's
I
face,
can't,
man.
I can't even be mad about it. Like, their social media team is just like entertaining.
They
Like,
gave up.
Give up. Like, have you seen their tweets?
Yeah, it was like the other team scored more runs than us.
I remember seeing one that was like, yeah, you know, they scored more, it just wasn't our night. Or some stupid shit. Like, it's like
Yeah.
they're just so like they're having
It
fun
was-
with it. Let's put it that way.
It wasn't that long ago that their GM, Chris Getz, he said that heading into this year, he expected them to lose about 100 to 110 games.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Could you
seeing
imagine that
interview.
of your general manager basically saying, yeah, there's no hope this year?
How
Okay.
would you feel as a clubhouse?
I mean, at
knowing
least
that
he's
he hates
at
you?
least he's realistic.
I mean, sure, he didn't have any expectations, but think how disheartening that is as a not just as a fan, but as a player, just
That's
to
what
hear
I'm
the
saying.
guy that's running the team say, like, yeah,
Knowing that
we're
he
not
hates
doing
you.
anything
Okay.
this year.
Yeah, we suck, and it's because of you.
But what situation would you guys rather be in? Would you rather be in a rowdy situation earlier this year where you're just hated by the entire fan base, or would you rather just be that disliked by your own GM and be on that terrible of a team?
I don't know.
I don't know. At least it would. I'd honestly probably want to be on the White Sox, low key though.
Yeah, because I mean, to be fair, when you're on the 2024 White Sox, there's no expectations.
Yeah, might just couldn't handle getting
I
food.
did, dude. Like my entire city, bro. Like, dude, I'd go anywhere. They would just hate me casually. At least if I'm on the White Sox, no one's gonna say anything. It's my GM that hates me.
'Cause no one cares.
as much.
My favorite sling of tweets that has come out this year from baseball are just tweets of Miguel Vargas after like every
Oh yeah,
White
he just
Sox
looks
game.
even like
How
more and
depressed
more
he
depressed
looks.
after each game.
I mean, think about it. He got traded from the Los Angeles Dodgers to the Chicago White Sox.
Dude, oh my god, I don't, dude. Yeah, that might be one of the most unfortunate trade pathways.
Low key, I
there
might.
is.
I would just retire.
I wonder how many more years of
I would-
years of
Oh,
control he
man.
has to like where he can't go.
Well, he's like a rookie.
Oh damn.
He's like a rookie. He's not going anywhere.
a lot, like 5,
Yeah.
That
6
that
years.
is not good. I'd be demanding trade, just like
Yeah.
MLB The Show. Although I can't talk to my agent, it's like once every 3 months he asks if I'm all right. Be like, no, bro, we've lost like 20 games in the last month. I want out.
I know this doesn't have to anything to do directly with the White Sox losing, but I just remember I pulled a Chris Getz autograph in a baseball card pack years ago,
Boyd.
and now he's the most hated man in Chicago.
Yeah, that's something. There is another hated man over on this side of the country in the Bay Area.
John Fisher.
John Fisher. Yeah, if a lot of people think Bob is bad, but there's also John Fisher.
I was gonna say,
who
like,
has uprooted the team out of Oakland.
just gonna say, like, I know Bob isn't a great owner, but I'm just happy we don't have John Fisher as an owner.
I mean, did you
Yeah.
see? Okay, I just want to see. So they're they're playing their last home series in Oakland, right? And they told the players
Yep.
that they can't take pictures after the game on the field. Like they said to get out because they're worried about
Yes, I did
protests
see
by
that.
the fans for their safety.
I did see that.
Did you? You didn't see that, Dawson?
Oh, they're worried about fans getting on the field?
Yeah.
So they
Like
said
after the game, like
players,
storming the
'cause, like,
field?
I forget.
Dude.
Oh Jesus Christ! Who's the manager right now for the A's? Why am I blanking?
I'm not sure.
Jesus, I can't. But okay. Regardless, the A's manager. Since I can't, I don't know why, but he said he wanted to go out like after the game and basically say thank you to the fans for like to Oakland whatever. But he shut it down. Fisher said no. He wants all of them out of the dugouts and everything because they're worried about people going on the field for their safety.
I mean, that's kind of a valid concern, I guess. But I think if
I'd literally just have more
I
security
don't know,
or something.
I think they
like take the proper precautions.
You really think he'd pay for more
You think
security?
they're gonna spend money and hire
To
more
beef up
people?
security?
Valid point. I guess
No, but I feel like they would just do it anyways, like during the game, if they really wanted to. Like they would find a way around that. If someone out there, like if there's a group of people out there that really wanted to do that, I feel like they'd find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Or just as soon as the last out, then they would just go. I feel like now, if anything, doing that is almost giving it more attention. That people might actually do it. But
I mean-
I don't think there will be any riots or anything. I think it'll mainly just be kind of a sad day.
I was gonna say it's gonna probably be pretty somber.
I'm curious to see the amount of people in the
Yeah.
stadium for that. Like, will there be the A's just knowing they're not going to be here?
Well, I'm not sure if this is true. This is something I saw in maybe May or June, but I believe it is true. I don't know if they fixed it, but they raised their prices for the last game
Cheap bastards.
That makes sense.
because they know it's just because they know people want to be there. Like, oh, you want to be here, you better pay to be here.
Yeah. That's
yeah, no,
just,
it's going to be something. It's really interesting because, they're going to be playing in Sacramento, the Giants AAA stadium, for the next 3 years, presumably. And
Damn,
it seems
3
like
years?
for Vegas, for Vegas, we
Yeah, I
haven't
was gonna say, it's not
seen a
until-
financial
it's till
plan
2028
for their
or
new
something like
stadium.
that. That's what
damn,
they're
I
saying.
cannot imagine 3 years in a minor league park. That's kind of crazy.
And the thing is, too, dude, they're going to have to share it, too, which is wild. Because they're going to be sharing it with...
I know that a lot of
um,
Pirate fans are worrying that this is what's eventually going to happen to the Pirates because Bob Nutting's not a great owner. But I just...
No chance.
I don't see it happening. The huge reason with
Dude.
Oakland is because that Coliseum is just in shambles. I've seen
It's the
videos.
worst.
I've seen videos of I've seen videos of people who sit behind home plate. It looks like if you fell down, you'd risk a tetanus shot.
Yeah, I've been there. I can tell you, it is the worst.
What's it like there?
It's just a lot of gray. The whole stadium is just very, very wide. Well, because it was built for football too. Because
Yeah.
that's where the Raiders used to play back in the day. So I've been there for football and I've been there for baseball.
I have a funny story. It kind of coincides. It goes with this.
What's up?
So, the one morning my mom was watching what is that? Kelly and Mark. You know what I'm talking about? Kelly Ripa. So she was watching it and they'll do fan questions where they'll be like, oh, tell three or two truths and a lie. So, and then they get to ask questions, and then they have to guess which one. So this lady calls in and starts naming them off, and she's like, "Oh, I've been to all 32 ballparks." So "Oh, I've been to France," and she's like, "Oh, I've been to this place." So then he asked a question. It was like, "Oh, so if you've been to all 32 parks, what's your favorite?" And she goes, "Oh, the Oakland Coliseum." And he goes, "That's the lie." And called her out, and she lost. He's like, because there's no way anyone would ever say that. And I just thought,
No one would ever
it was
say
so
that.
funny. like watching it. It's like, bro, all the calls, like all of the like stadiums you could have randomly said, like, why did you say the Coliseum?
That's so funny. Yeah, it's definitely not a baseball park because even so, I've sat there in a few different spots. I've sat in the outfield, down the line, behind the dugout, behind home plate. You could be behind home plate, like 15 rows behind home plate. It almost feels like you're a mile away from everything that's going on. And it's just, it's kind of sad because, you know, like on the outside and, you know, looking at the entire stadium, like if you look at videos and stuff like online, it's very depressing, and you can tell just how run down it is. The one thing I will say about Oakland, though, is for whatever reason, when the games I have been to, when there are fans there and they're staffed properly and all that, there is definitely like a personality there that will be missed, and is kind of different from pretty much any other park I've been to, I'd say. Like, really. Especially back in last I can remember is 2019 when they had a pretty good squad. I believe they made the playoffs that year. But that's really the last time I've seen that it's been like that. I've been back in 21 and 22, and unless it's like the Bay Bridge series, it's really just not the same anymore.
I just don't understand too.
But
they totally could have renovated it a little bit. I mean, the Raiders left for Vegas. What? How many years ago was that? Like, and so it's just the Athletics now.
No.
So it's not like.
I mean,
Well,
It's
I
just-
mean, they knew they were leaving in what, 2016?
Even
But
then,
just like
there's,
minor
it's just
stuff.
in
It doesn't have to
complete
be like
disrepair.
drastic. Just minor upgrades. It doesn't.
It's just in complete disrepair. There's things that they could just they need to fix because it's not. How many
Yeah.
times have the lights gone out over the last handful of years during the middle of games? I've heard that there's times when it rains, there's a chance that the sewage might overflow.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like, you mean to tell me
Yep.
they can't, like, it's not like they're switching
That's
back
like
and forth between football
Basic
baseball.
repairs. That's just basic repairs. It's like that's kind of makes it an unsafe environment at that point.
I feel for Oakland,
Yeah,
man. I really
yeah.
do.
I mean,
They lost their football
Yeah.
team and now soon to be their baseball.
It's like the people who think that this is going to happen to the Pirates. You look at PNC Park. You could call Bob Nutting cheap, but the Pirates put a ton of renovations into PNC Park. They did it a few years ago. They put in that brand new gift shop, the bar and center field, the new kids play area. They put in that place for kids with disabilities, that wheelchair accessible area. There's a lot of stuff they've put in that that Oakland hasn't even thought of.
yeah. I mean, I will say, you know, kind of as an outsider a little bit, I mean, I've been going to PNC since 2019, and I mean, I've seen the upgrades they made year after year. You know, each year I head down there, you can really see it. But yeah, no, I have no concern about this and Bob and a similar thing happening to the Pirates, especially because I think PNC is probably going to outlive Bob anyway.
I'd
So,
like to think so.
you know,
I mean,
I would say that I feel like PNC will
PNC
be.
is going to be around forever.
I was gonna say I feel like PNC is gonna be like the next Wrigley Field or Fenway Park, where it's gonna be standing, even after we're gone.
Yeah, probably. I mean, with that location, I don't see why not. Like, it's the perfect location. You're never gonna get a better one than that, I think, in Pittsburgh, unless eventually Acrisure gets blown up in like 2070, and then they build it where Acrisure is
then
now.
what would they do
if
with-
they find
what
a
would
new
they
spot
do
for
with
a
the
Steelers
Steelers?
stadium? But
where would they go?
I don't know.
It's perfect
but-
the way it is. They're right down the
I
street
don't
from
know.
each other, and it's perfect. You have all the bars and all the stuff to do. It's in
Yeah.
such a good area. There's so many things to do around the
And
stadium.
it's such a great view too.
Yeah, and even the Penguins are kind of close a little bit too.
Somewhat.
Because I mean, it's all connected. It's all connected with the train system, and it's all pretty close. And the way everything else is around there, there's really not space unless you get rid of the Carnegie or something. But no, PNC is here to stay, and as long as that's here, you know, that'd really be a conversation. I don't think that needs to be brought up again until whoever, either the Pirates are A, sold to somebody else, or B, whoever takes over after Bob.
God, I hope
So
someone,
I mean, which I don't think that's a conversation we need to have.
I hope it's not the Nutting family by the time I die. If it's still them, then we have still suffered.
Hey, how do you know his?
several
How do you
years
know his?
of
How do you know his family isn't not like him and not so
You don't think they would try to convince
extremely
him?
frugal?
like even a little bit? And then he's just like,
I
no,
don't know.
screw those kids.
No, I still feel like the Pirates are in a good enough spot because it seems like there's a lot of stuff MLB is trying to push on right now too with smaller market teams and trying to get them to contend that there's definitely stuff that's gonna go in their favor in
Hopefully,
the next few
Like
years.
when we win the
Yeah.
MLB draft
like
lottery.
we've seen it. We've seen it happen before with smaller market teams. If they have a good enough system and a solid budget, nothing insane, maybe not, 300 million a year, but even just somewhere in the 200s, then it's like you can.
Dude,
for
I
sure
don't understand why
contend.
there's not a floor. Can you like tell me that? Why is there not a spending floor? Like make teams spend like say 90 million. Why can't they do that? What is that? Spend whatever you want. I don't care how much over you go to 90, but you should at the minimum be at 90.
Can't happen because the White Sox need to cut payroll. Sorry.
Okay, but you get my okay, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like why can't they do that? Like, what's stopping that? I'm not saying that the Dodgers can't have their
Owners won't allow
$300 million.
owners won't allow it.
Why?
Yeah, owners won't allow it, and they run the league because they want
Bro, so
control over
they
what
And
they
can
it's,
can
be
do.
stupid.
and it's the same reason there won't be the same reason that there won't be a salary cap either because the players won't allow it.
Yeah.
You have a better chance of getting Ukraine and Russia to make peace than MLB, PA, and the owners.
Dude, I just don't get it. Every other sport, the teams go pretty much right up to the cap if they feel like they can win.
It's because every other sport hasn't been around since, like the beginning of time. Well, other than soccer, but that's European, doesn't count.
Whatever. Dumb. Think it's dumb. Don't tell me you can't do that.
All right. Well, back to some good Pirates news, which I don't think we've had the chance to talk about today. Nick York got called up, guys. He does exist.
Finally.
I couldn't
They do
believe
exist.
it. Yeah, he's been doing pretty solid, I'd say.
He's
good enough.
he's done okay. He's done okay. He has a home run so far and 6 hits in total in 24 plate appearances. He was hitting really well in AAA, so hopefully he can continue to at least be solid. He kind of projects as an Adam Frazier type, kind of a lots of contact, maybe not much power, but can kind of play wherever
He
you
will
need him to.
110%, and I will say this with the utmost confidence, will hit for more power than Adam Frazier. No doubt.
Well, I'm not saying he's a big power hitter. I'm just saying that he's more of a contact hitter.
Fair enough. But I'm just saying
Yeah.
he will be light years better.
I think Adam Frazier is a pretty good comp.
Yeah, I think that's at least his floor
I mean,
Yeah.
with his play
here's
style.
another thing. Why did this not? We've been saying it for I don't know how many episodes now, but why was this not done over a month ago? Why? Why now? We're already out.
Yeah, why not Billy Cook a month ago? Why not Nick York a month ago? It's because we have the reaction time of a sloth.
I mean, you mean to tell me that like the entire city of Pittsburgh knew that he was like ready to come up before the GM and manager of our baseball team did? Like, come on, like get out of here with that. Pirates Twitter knew what was up.
No, I mean they knew. It's just
No, Alika Williams has knows.
I guess, but it
Alika
just
Williams
happens.
has some dirt on
I don't know.
Shelton.
I mean I
That's what it is.
couldn't really think of a reason why. It's just sometimes that's just how it goes.
It's how the cookie crumbles. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, the cookie also may crumble for Brian Reynolds over at first.
Yeah, they've got him some workouts in at first base so far.
I-
He hasn't played yet, but
I could see
At
it.
this point, we should just let him play first the rest of the games. Might as well. What the hell they got to lose?
Honestly, why not?
I mean, it did make sense for O'Neal Cruz because like we were kind of still in the running to make a playoff spot. But I mean,
Not really.
I mean,
I don't-
I'm not
I
saying,
don't know
I'm
about
not
that one.
saying we would have, but I'm saying like
Not really. I mean, that was more so just because shortstop to center is just such a big positional
well that too.
jump
But I'm just saying
to make
like I
compared to
feel like at the
shortstop to
time
like
of the
second.
season,
Like
it
left
didn't
field to
make sense.
first. Like okay, first base does kind of suck to play. First base is hard.
First base is easy. Tell him, Wash.
It's it's very hard, as Ron Washington would say. But I don't know. I mean, I think left to first is an easier transition compared to short to
Well, I
center.
think it's better for Brian Reynolds
But
too.
I don't know. O'Neal
in
Cruz
general.
is just such a great athlete anyway that he can do.
You know,
it.
I
But
just
yeah,
kind of wonder what happened to Brian Reynolds' defense in left field because when he first came up, he was really solid, and he was a Gold Glove finalist in 2021, and now he's just like, I don't know, he's just not that good.
I feel like too, it'll also preserve his health going forward. I mean, I feel like he's getting older, lets him play more games. I mean, he's already Iron Man, but eventually he'll start slowing down. So I think it benefits him in the long run. I think it benefits the Pirates because I think personally,
Yeah.
it's easier to plug and play at first than it is like trying to plug someone in left field. It's you know what I mean, defensively.
yeah. Well,
I'm-
I think career longevity wise,
Yeah.
it should help him out a little bit.
I'm just concerned that the
Just a
Pirates.
little less day-to-day wear and tear.
I'm just concerned how the Pirates are going to fill that void in left field. Then
I mean,
Yeah.
well, our track record of signing free agents didn't go too hot
that's
this
my
past
point.
off season, but
That's my point. It's like, how are we going to
left
fill
is
that?
a lot harder to fill compared to first.
See, I still really want Taylor Ward, and that's going to be my top free agent or my top trade target this offseason because I don't really trust us to sign Anthony Santander or Tyler O'Neill to fill
let's
left
go sign
field.
Teoscar.
Even though I would
Hernandez.
absolutely... Let's just sign Teoscar Hernandez and defer all the money for 20 more years like the Dodgers did.
He did hop on a 1-year deal to go to the Dodgers. If he's ring chasing, I don't know if this is where he's going to want to come.
Well,
next
if they
year.
win a ring, he might.
Oh, true. And maybe he'll be satisfied and be like, all right. No, that's when he goes and signs with the Chicago White Sox.
Nah, that's a Cub-ass team. The Cubs would totally be all over Teoscar Hernandez if he wins a ring. 110%.
Yeah.
I just
Dude,
don't know how they're going to fill it
Hold
if
on.
they move him to first base.
I was like, no, you know what that is? That's some random Mike throwaway line that's going to come true in like 6 months, dude.
Get ready, dude. I'm telling you.
It's always the lines like that always come true. But yeah, I mean, looking through, I mean, this season has been something, man. But we have a couple categories we'd like to go over a little bit. For you guys, I'm sure some of these will probably be unanimous for a few of us. Starting out with team MVP. Should we do this just on the count of 3?
We could go in turns.
All right, ready? Well, okay. All right, Noah, team MVP.
Well, for me, I would say O'Neal Cruz. O'Neal Cruz would be my team MVP.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike.
Okay, so the obvious answer here would be Paul Skeens, but I'm going to say Mr. Reliable Brian Reynolds. He's been like the one consistent all
Brian
year.
Reynolds. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because O'Neal has had his own ups and downs as well.
Who do you have
well,
then, Dawson?
I'm going to say Mr. Paul Skeens.
All right, so we're all over the place.
I think yeah. I thought this was going to be unanimous. I was kind of surprised, especially. Well, okay, Noah, I could see you picking O'Neal. Mike, I thought you were going to go with Paul, especially too. Mike, you talked a lot about it when it happened when Paul did get called up. Like the team kind of felt different, and it felt like for that stretch of run, that was where the Pirates really shined before things started to fall apart in August, really. But I think without Paul, we're in a very different state right now. I think if you take out O'Neal Cruz or if you take out Brian Reynolds, like for the season, just say they weren't there, like obviously it'd have a drastic effect, but I think Paul being here really changed the narrative for the season and really the outlook, even if it was for just that little bit of a span that it was for like that month or two in when would that be, May and June, that things really started to get cooking when he first came up. That like glimpse of what Pittsburgh baseball should look like, I think was huge for a lot of people to see once again. So I'm going with
I can
Paul.
see
No,
that.
yeah, that's. I mean,
I
it's
say
exactly
O'Neal
what
Cruz
I said. I
because-
said that.
purely
I
for
said,
that
like,
reason.
Everyone kept. You guys even play the devil's advocate a little bit. You're like, oh well, if he comes up, how's that going to help the hitting? But I was like, well, it could just be a morale boost, and that alone could give the team energy.
Well,
like,
and then when he came up and we like just started scoring a ton too.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, just like to get that big time player in the clubhouse, and it just like, oh yeah, let's step it up for this guy. There's an energy in the city that they want us to win, and now it's time to deliver. So I very much agree. But like I did my NFL voting type deal there. Like offensive player of the year doesn't go to a quarterback because they go to the MVP. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah, so that's why Paul's not also winning Rookie of the Year because he doesn't play every day.
no, that's not what I'm saying. See, I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like MVP. I'm saying like Brian Reynolds is really the quarterback of the Pirates. Right? Either him or Kutch in that
'Cause
regard,
he
but
plays
like
every day?
in terms of this, it's Brian Reynolds.
This isn't Jackson Muriel.
No, damn it! That's not how I meant for you guys to take
Okay,
it.
I said O'Neal Cruz because he's having a 2020 season. And I really think a big thing is him adapting to center field as quickly as he has. Him going
Yeah.
there and taking it up, and not only he's worked his ass off and you've seen it, and you've seen the work paying off. So to me, that's pretty valuable to the team, not just this year, but in the long run.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree.
Yeah, no. O'Neal Cruz
I think those are the only three valid.
O'Neal would
answers.
probably get my second place vote. Yeah. Really? Not Andy?
No.
Haynes?
He could fit another category.
All right, moving on. Best pitcher. All right, we're all in agreement. It's Paul here, right?
It's Bailey Falter.
I'd say
I'd have to go David Bednar.
I was waiting for one of you clowns to pull out. Yeah, there it is.
No, there's no question. It's Paul.
Yeah. No.
It is the future National League Rookie of the Year, Paul Skeens, for sure.
Absolutely.
I wonder who the.
Yeah, not much debate on that. Not much
There
debate
shouldn't
on
be
that
much
one.
debate
I
on
mean,
this
we,
one
we
either.
just we just covered Paul a little bit. Best rookie,
Paul.
also Paul, but very much shout out to Jared
Might have
Jones.
I might
for
have to
sure.
say Ben Heller.
Jones deserves some recognition, and so does Nick Gonzalez. But it's definitely Paul Skeens.
Yeah. Nikki G's really figured things out too.
Yeah. But it's definitely Paul, no question.
Yeah. Not even close.
All right,
Should
this
be
one,
the
though-
National
This
League
is an
Rookie of the Year
interesting
for
This
sure.
one though,
Most surprising. Who do you guys have?
honestly,
Mike?
This could go two players, and they're both pitchers. I would say actually no. There's three players you could give this to. Most surprising could go to one of Luis Ortiz, Bailey Falter, or Jared Jones, because no one.
really, you think Jared Jones?
What?
Jared Jones is one of the most surprising ones to you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, no one. I mean, who would have thought he'd be as good as he was? I mean, like I thought he was going to be okay,
See,
but
to
Noah.
yeah, Mr. Baseball here, I guess.
Noah kind of did.
Fair enough, whatever. But majority of the people didn't think that. But no, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to
I-
Luis Ortiz because I didn't expect him to solidify himself as like the starting pitcher 5 of the rotation like that, especially when we need.
I was going to say Bailey Falter. Bailey Falter to me is probably the most surprising, based on the expectations people had set for. Most fans had set.
I booed him at the home opener.
Entering this year, people were pissed that he was the 5th starter. Not Quinn Priester, who didn't do bad in spring training. It was Bailey Falter after he completely blew up in spring training. And then he comes out during that first game against the Marlins, and he gives up, 5 runs in the first inning, including a grand slam?
Yeah.
And that's when people are like, just call up Paul Skeens.
That was all before he got an out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all before he got an out.
Did he get no outs?
It was all before he got an out. And then, so everyone at that point was like, yeah, this guy's just the seat warmer for Skeens. So hopefully Skeens is here in like a couple weeks. But since then, he has been a very solid pitcher. He's not been outstanding, but he's been what you would expect from kind of a middle to back of the rotation arm. And that's still very valuable to get a guy that's just consistently solid.
Yeah, I literally booed him on the opening day, so. The home opener.
Yeah,
we're announcing the roster.
Noah, that is a great selection because Bailey Falter is also my pick.
Really?
For pretty much the same reasons you highlighted there. Yeah. I think, especially after that rough start he had, I mean, he really kind of came in almost out of nowhere and just had that.
His next start, he literally almost no-hit the Orioles. So
I figured you would have said. I really thought you were going to say Joey Bart.
That's a good one too. I didn't even think of that. Bart, yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Joey Bart.
Yeah, Joey. No, see, Joey is a good one, but I always knew he was gonna be good. Damn it, I stood on business. So no, he's not surprising for me.
I didn't put him in. I don't think he's the most surprising just because of the prospect pedigree he had. So it's not the most surprising.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Bailey Falter's. All respect to Bailey Falter, but going into the season. His expectations were on the floor for a lot of people.
I also want to think that Dennis Santana would get an honorable mention for the most surprising.
I guess you could say most surprising is David Bednar for other reasons to be most surprising, but
we'll talk about that later. But most surprising.
That is true. That's one way to think about it.
Well, we're talking about positively surprising here, but I thought...
Yeah, I feel like that would be more the other category of most disappointing. Noah, did you have anything to add before we moved on to most
I just thought Dennis Santana, we would bring him up because just how horrible he was in New York before we got him, and he really never had a track record, so I kind of thought that he'd deserve an honorable mention. We're talking about him as a potential closer candidate next year, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, great shout for him. All right. What a beautiful way. Well, I mean, we're really gonna end the show today talking about some gambling, but what a way to kind of wrap things up here. Talking about the most disappointing member. This would be of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization.
The
as
entire
a whole,
roster.
Just to clarify, we aren't just talking about players here. I'll go ahead and start with my most disappointing player. I drafted Bednar in fantasy this year, so I really wanted to pick him,
wanted
but
I did too. We all did.
I went ahead and had to go with the manager of your Pittsburgh Pirates, Derek Shelton, as my most disappointing for this year. Really, it's for, we've talked about, kind of roster management issues we've had really all year. Part of this would be a combination of, Derek and Sherrington as well. But really, that clubhouse kind of got lost after the trade deadline. Whatever happened, we went from a point to, seeing success and seeing the team take a step forward. It felt like, and gain a lot of momentum, to a stretch of utter despair in August is really the only way I can describe it. And just seeing a clubhouse get to that point, that falls on the manager. If it happens where your team has a stretch like that, you need to figure out a way to get out of it. That's something that happens inside the clubhouse. That's something that happens with his staff. And as a whole, I felt I couldn't really pick Andy Haynes as much as I wanted to. Not like he had any great expectations going into this year either. We've talked about he hasn't really had success really anywhere he's been before either. But with Derek, I know a lot of people really wanted him to be the manager for this team for the future, and I don't think after this year anyone can confidently say that he is that choice. And him still being here, at least for now, and it looks like he'll be here in 2025, isn't an exciting prospect for the future of this organization, at least in the immediate future.
I agree with everything you're saying about Shelton, but to me, I think that I would make Ke'Bryan Hayes my most disappointing
Damn you!
of the year.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna look like a genius.
I really didn't want. Of course, it hurts to say that because I love Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Yeah.
But at the start of all this, we said that he was going to be an extremely dark horse MVP candidate. After that second half last year, we said, this is someone that, if he continues to hit like he did in the second half with as good a defense, that's someone who's going to get MVP votes. Maybe even be one of the finalists if he continues to hit like that. And of course, it's not all been his fault. He's had herniated discs, which is something very painful to go through. And I've seen my dad had it, and it was debilitating to him for a couple weeks because it's like he couldn't properly even pick things up. So I couldn't imagine what it's like for someone whose job it is to play professional baseball at the highest level there is in the world. So it's not all his fault, but it's just kind of disappointing. That's how his season has went.
Yeah, I that makes me mad. I was gonna say Ke'Bryan, but now there's so many people that could deserve most disappointing. I'm gonna give it as a whole to the bullpen. The bullpen was supposed to be the strength of the team, and even MLB post their preseason rankings, and the Pirates came in at number 3 bullpen. I'm curious to know what they are now. Probably like 28th. Somewhere in the bottom 20, like 25. So it just,
yeah.
Oh my god! Like we thought so many of them were gonna be dominant. There's really been no consistent arm in the pen. Every single one of them.
You came into
went through a stretch of just absolute nothingness.
The wheels really started to fall off toward the end of spring training when Dauri Moreta had Tommy John surgery at the end of spring training. Then Ryan Barucki is out basically for the entire year. David Bednar never really got a consistent good streak going, and then Colin Holderman just all of a sudden forgets how to pitch for a whole month.
Chapman even had his little stretch there where he was.
Yep.
Chapman was also very up and down this year, and that's 4 or 5 pitchers that you went into this year really looking to rely on heavily, just not there, not consistent, not healthy.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many disappointing. This is probably the category that could get the most answers here, but.
I mean, I would also like to mention Jack Suwinski, too.
I thought about Jack, too.
I mean, Jack hit 26 home runs last year and played solid defense in center field, and none of that came around this year.
And now he's probably never going to sniff the Pirates main roster again.
Dude, I must be getting up there in age or something because I completely forgot about Jack. Holy, how long ago was that? May? June?
What is this? That's
May,
definitely
right?
That's probably my second most disappointing player if we're just looking at players, because Jack was supposed to be
cornerstone.
Our center.
He was supposed to be one of the core
He
members.
was supposed to be like a 30 home run hitter with good defense in outfield, because that's what he did last year. He had 26 home runs and he wasn't an outstanding defender, but he more than just got the job done. So you're expecting a middle of an order bat to provide solid outfield defense, and that was someone you're relying on to drive in a lot of runs, and he just didn't. I still blame Andy Haynes for that, though. So we can add that to a part of the disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like the list goes on and on. Like honestly, there's not many players that didn't disappoint. I feel like everyone kind of underperformed. For the most part. Outside of a few players.
Nah,
Outside of a few. That's what I'm saying. Outside of a
I
few.
was like, Paul Skeens, how dare you underperform this season?
How dare you underperform with your 2.13 ERA plus?
But like,
Yeah. Now, a couple good shots in there. I mean, bullpen for sure. I didn't see. I thought about Key Bryan, but with his injury, I didn't really want to give it to him. I kind of want to give him a pass a little bit. Bednar probably would have gotten it for me if I didn't feel as strongly as I did about Shelton. But I mean, that's still up in the air, I guess. I don't believe it until I see him jogging on the field for opening day next year. Or spring training, I guess. They want to hire a new manager in spring training. But until then, be on the lookout. And also, be on the lookout for CJ Abrams in your local casino, apparently. Oh, boy. Dude, okay, this does suck to see, but it's also kind of insane
kind of
a little
funny.
bit. I woke up the other day, and I see that my starting shortstop in my fantasy baseball semifinals is at the casino at 8 in the morning on the same day that he has a day game. This would be Washington National shortstop CJ Abrams, and all-star CJ
see no
Abrams. The Nationals found out about this. The Nationals do have quite a bit of a few younger players that are coming up through the ranks right now, and so they immediately decided to option him to AAA, and we probably won't see CJ Abrams for the rest of the year.
no. Free
That's-
that man.
that's-
Free that man. He's innocent.
He shouldn't have done that, but it's kind of funny.
No. What's
It
wrong
is-
with it? He just wanted to gamble a little bit.
You're out at 8 a.m. on
Mike,
a day game.
There's a day game later that day, and he was out. So it wasn't like he woke up at 8 and started to gamble. He was out
Okay,
all
but
night.
if he's up and ready to roll for the day game, who cares what time he went to
That's all
bed?
he's-
I don't think being up all night is ready to roll. For
Oh,
the
trust
day
me,
game.
he was up and
For a
he
game
was
at
up
1
and
o'clock.
rolling. He was throwing the dice down in the craps at the tables. But
Yeah, he had 5 hours to
man.
get sleep and get ready to get to the park before first pitch.
what does it matter? They're out of it.
Dude,
Let him have his fun.
How many is this now this year that there's been a gambling issue?
For major league players, it's like 3 now, right? Because it was Ohtani at the start of the year, then Marcano,
Tucupita.
and now Abrams.
I completely
Oh, that's
forgot
right.
about Tucupita Marcano.
Yeah, and then there were a few minor leaguers. That's
There
right.
were some
Yeah.
minor leaguers who got suspended, but they didn't get a full lifetime
To be
ban.
fair,
You know,
C.J. Abrams wasn't sports betting. He was just playing the tables. Like that picture of him is at a roulette table.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not sports betting, but it's just like
He's just gambling.
it feels like he has a
still
gambling problem.
Dude, gambling all night before a day game is crazy work. I mean, like, there are instances I think where it's okay. Like, speaking of, have any of you guys seen the Phillies lineup today?
No, I did not.
So the Phillies clinched their playoff spot yesterday, and so word is a lot of the Phillies players had a very good time last night. If you look at the Phillies lineup today, hangover lineup for sure.
All the B player,
100%.
all the B team is
Yeah,
playing.
well, it's like pretty much. It's like you see like Schwarber's in there. I think Schwarber's made it. You know, he's a tank, so that makes sense. He's still leading off. Then you get down a little bit further. You see a few names. You're like, like if there's a few names at least National League wise, then I'm looking at it. I'm like, who is that?
Hold on.
Hangover lineup, and that's like the last like 3 players.
It's Sosa, Stubbs, and Rojas.
Okay, see, yeah, Garrett Stubbs had a baby.
Houston Astros legend Garrett Stubbs.
That's right.
So they're
But yeah, no, absolutely abysmal. But I think what this kind of is, because 3 in 1 year is crazy, because I mean we haven't seen this happen in a while. But I think the league is really starting to take notice and crack down on it. But it's kind of coming to fruition from just all of the gambling
To be fair, though,
Like-
this situation's a little different, though.
ads
Because this
that's
one
taking
isn't
place.
like league punishment. Like this was just the Nationals making
It
a
no
statement.
yeah. Well, it's a little different, but I think the sports betting culture that's kind of being ingrained in pretty much every sport right now is being, CJ Abrams. He's a young guy. He graduated high school a year in 2020, year after us, maybe. He may have been 19.
I think it was 2019.
But so he's around our age, and for a lot of those younger guys, I'm telling you, CJ Abrams, there's a good chance, I'm guessing, that he sports bets on the side, but I think sports betting is really a kind of gateway into actual gambling, which, do what you want.
Both
right?
are good.
It's just, well, when it becomes a concern for your employment, where you're staying out all night on the craps table, or you're betting on games illegally when you're not supposed to, that's where it becomes a problem. So just something for the league and other leagues to monitor, but it seems like no one's really going to care, and everyone's going to continue to take money from MGM, DraftKings, whoever it may be, which it's a business.
See,
that's just how it's going to go.
CJ Abrams now being at AAA, their season ended, I believe, today because they only had like one game left. So
They played
now he's
Sunday.
going
Yep.
right back to the casino now. The
Now he
season's
has more
over.
time to
He
gamble.
has more time. You think he really cares? Oh, he has a faster off season now. He's probably back. Like, I don't know. Just let the brother have fun, man.
Nah,
That's how I
Mike.
feel. Let him have fun.
Mike, he had a game in
Alright.
5 hours, but okay.
Who cares?
yeah, I think we're gonna need to take Mike off the air anytime
No.
we start talking about
Time
if
out.
there's another
You
gambling
mean to tell
issue.
me-
So whatever gambling issue that comes out in February of this year for spring training, Mike,
No.
you're off that episode.
Dawson, you're telling me right now that you've never went to bed super late on a game day? Exactly.
I have.
You
but
can
if
do
I
it.
was- okay. No, there's a difference between going to bed late. Okay. I don't think I've done it before a 12 o'clock game,
I mean,
though,
there's been
where I've
times-
stayed up until 8 in the
Dude,
morning.
literally sophomore year of high school, when we were in Florida with the baseball team. We were up until 3:30 in the morning, and we had to be at the field at 7.
Okay, but here's the here's the
okay,
difference. You're not
that's
$1
'cause
million
you-
investment, Mike. You aren't $1 million
Yeah,
worth
and you're-
baseball player.
Then you're a bunch of high schoolers going on a trip to Florida. This is a little bit different than that situation.
This is a
I'm
man
just saying
almost in his mid
that
20s.
the brother could have did
$.
it. He could have muscled it up. Who knows? He might have had the drowsiness hungover game and went crazy.
The point is
so
that's a
every
problem.
every Cody Bellinger game in 2017.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't know. Maybe he does better when he's sleep deprived.
Well, I mean, it seems like the Nationals don't think so. So,
On a side note, I know we mentioned the White Sox earlier. I just got an alert saying that the White Sox may promote Grady Sizemore to full-time manager. And
Congrats.
The interim.
good luck.
Good luck to him. Oh,
nothing but the best. But yeah, you know what that means, though?
What does that mean?
One less person we have to worry about taking Gabe Kapler away from the Pirates next year.
I see so many
Lot
people
done.
say they want Terry Francona. It's like, did brother even say he wanted to come back and coach? Was it not because he was old and had health-related
Dude, he is.
issues?
Yeah, he had health issues. He's not coming back.
I see so many people
he
saying
wants to
that.
spend the rest of his years with his family.
Exactly. So
No, I'm tired of it. I don't need any more managers coming out of retirement or borderline retirement that should be retired coming back. No, stop it. It's not a good idea. It only worked with Bochy, and I don't think it'll work ever.
It didn't work with Showalter and Mets. It didn't work with La Russa with the White Sox. I don't know. I really don't want to try it again with.
It's not a good track record, and it's not working right now with Bob and the Giants. I think
Pirates
Bob's up
need
there
to
in age
hire
enough.
Joe Madden.
No. That's another one that is in retirement that shouldn't come back.
He's up there too. Yeah.
No, bring him in. Give him to me.
I'd be okay with Jeff Bannister. Remember Jeff Bannister? He used to be our bench coach, and they went over to Texas and won Manager of the Year one year.
Yeah. Jeff Bannister might be solid.
Give me
Yeah,
Carlos Beltran.
We'll see if that conversation comes. But until then, final week of the season, wrapping things up in New York City. Oh man, what a play!
What a time.
Hey, copyright. But
I sang it a little off key. Don't worry about it.
yeah, well, same people we'll see at the beginning of next season too. But heading into the off season, we'll have quite a few things to talk about and go over this season just a little bit more in depth. But also, award season's coming up. Could be some awards for Paul. Anybody else? I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. But yeah, final week of the season. Make it out to PNC if you can. Mike, you'll be there
Tomorrow night.
That's right.
Have fun.
I'm gonna have a blast.
All right, Mike. Well, at least for the regular season, can we get one last?
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Whoa! All right.